you guys have a ton of questions about life in Korea.
How much money do you need to actually thrive in Korea?
If you come here as a foreigner, you have to be even better. You have to outperform the natives here. I don't think I'm a realistic representation of how life in Korea most likely is gonna be for you if you move here. And I think that way because of a lot of different reasons, but the main one is obviously my job situation. The job that I have, which is content creator, I own my own coaching business, and I am starting some other things on the side as well. Content creation in itself is the reason why I came to Korea. I got my visa and I was able to work on that because I was already somewhat established before that made a Korean company want to take me in. I have now later on recently switched to a more of a residency-like visa, which is enabling me to start more businesses on the side. So what I'm getting at is, one, I'm not kind of trapped in Korean companies which have a not so generous pay, and also it has a very set hours. Filming YouTube videos for you guys is my main job, and that means in order to actually make a good living and make people keep watching, I have to go out and do exciting things, meaning I had spent a lot of my days in cafes out with friends and such because that's fun content to see. So, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm lucky to have the job that I have because I've built myself up to that, I have worked for it, and I have made the decision to have that as my job. It's a decision I think anyone can make. If you come here, you work or you study, obviously most of your time is going to go for the job that you get or to your university. And that is the main reason why I think I'm not the typical realistic representation of how most people's life is gonna be when they come here to Korea, as is a lot of other full-time content creators here. But you guys have a ton of questions about life in Korea, and I'm going to try to answer a little bit of them in this video. For now, let's head out, let's start the day. I'm going to see Sunny Dahe and Erna, two beautiful, amazing content creators as well here in Korea, actually. Let's go. This I crave literally every single, like I crave it all the time.
Okay. How do I say 잘 먹겠습니다?
Welcome.
Velvet? Welcome. Yeah.
Oh my god, but seriously, like a good rye bread with cheese. It's a way to make me feel like, okay, now I can go one month more without going back home to Denmark. This is like, this is what I'm craving. No offense to my family. 3 cameras. This is a Jujube Pechu wine. It's a French wine, but apparently the owner's partner is Korean. I drove past Wangshimi on the way to see the girls earlier, and I used to live there. And just driving past that cafe that I used to work at made me really think about how much times have changed and how much a different perspective of life here in Korea I had back then versus now. Very interesting to think about.
Jake told me some very interesting and frankly sad statistics here the other day. Basically, as we all know, I think Korea is one of the countries with the lowest childbirth rate. There is a real epidemic of basically the population not reproducing. And that is also a result of less marriages. But one statistic or one group of people here in Korea that has been marrying more than previously is actually foreigners marrying Korean. And this is both Korean men, Korean women, foreign men. It's not any gender based or anything. But interestingly enough, and this is where the sad part comes in, there is also the highest divorce rate between these people. There's a lot of different ways to describe why this is happening, and I think the most prominent one is that foreigners have a hard time finding a job here. So once you actually get into this lifestyle here, you probably come here as an English teacher or whatever, or as a semester to study abroad. You find someone, you fall in love, and you live here a little bit and you get married and get the marriage visa because that's the only visa where you can do other work at. But when you realize you can't get any other jobs because you can't outperform Koreans in that field, which I think a lot of foreigners who come here sadly live in that illusion. We have to remember that if we want to live in Korea and you want to get a visa with a company or you want to do any sort of work, you have to do what you do better than a native Korean here. Unless you're better than Koreans who know how to speak fluent English, which there are a lot of these days, you're not gonna get the job. And I think that's where a lot of people get into trouble here, because everything kind of looks nice on the picture. But in reality, it's really tough. It's like anywhere. But if you come here as a foreigner, you have to be even better. You have to outperform the natives here, because it is a reliability for a company to hire you if they have to be your sort of quote-unquote legal guardians here. They have to be responsible of you if they give you a visa. So everything they do reflects on the company. It also costs a lot of money, and this and this and that. You need different support systems. I'm really only saying this because I get so many messages in my inbox for people asking me how to get a job and if it's easy to get a job, and the answer is no. It's really difficult to get a job here in Korea. So let's talk about thriving here and what it actually takes. But first, I am having a lunch meeting with Beauty of Joseon. I have not met up with the owner for a month or two, and Sumin is pregnant, so I'm very excited to meet her and Alyssa. So yeah, let's go.
Beautiful ladies. This is Mullae and yes, it is. Mullae kind of reminds me a little bit of Seongsu. It's very it's kind of like old factories and these really old low buildings, and people have painted on them and such, and people are starting to renovate these places into some like cute restaurants and bars and cafes. Like, look at this. Everything kind of looks like this. Very nice.
Call my number, call my name. If you wander back again, call my number, call my name.
Oh my god. Ooh, I can already see you're gonna have little sofa.
Yeah.
Little.
좀 골라줄래?
당연하지. 갑자기. 전화해줘. Oh my god. 이거 진짜 장난 아니야.
Call my number, call my name.
It's crazy how like in a year or two, Beauty of Joseon has scaled this much. I'm so proud of them. It looks beautiful.
Walking through the city in the middle of the night, there's still so much light. that isn't what I found. When the city never sleeps, I sleep to get
Finished work. I was sitting in a cafe for a couple of hours. Now I'm on my way to meet Subini or Christine, who I met at Erna's lovely daughter's birthday party. So yeah, we found a common interest in drinking, so we're gonna have some wine. That's one thing that I've noticed a lot here in Korea, is that a lot of foreigners who live here and then move away, or live here and not really have a good time here, they all have the thing in common that they say it's hard to make friends. And I agree, it definitely is. The reason why I don't have any problem meeting friends is my job. I think that is the common denominator. The people that I meet are all people in my kind of industry, and this is an industry of a large, diverse group of people, and basically everyone in my industry I've met, and then I become friends with the people who I am compatible with on a friendship level. And my cycle naturally is large because of my job. If I was, so let's say, an English teacher that worked 5 days a week and I was in a school for most of that day, it's hard meeting new people. And I think that's why a lot of people moving here essentially, you know, start feeling lonely a little bit. Good morning, guys. I am on a date with myself today in Anguk. I want to go to some nice Hanok cafes, just have some tea or some coffee, do some work and chat with you, because I asked you on Instagram some things if you wanted to know about Korea, and I'm gonna answer some of them today.
Help me reach it when I leave mine behind in this city, chaos and dust in our eyes, speeding at our speed.
How much money do you need to actually thrive in Korea? It's a good question. I think everyone has a different interpretation of how much money you actually need to thrive. When I first came here, I would say on average I earned around $800 to $1,200, and I had a rent for about $400. Not too many expenses. I did not live comfortably. As a matter of fact, I lived kind of rough. Like, the apartment kind of sucked. There was mold in between all of the walls, I later got to know. And I couldn't afford going out as much, of course. A lot of the times when I actually did go out, my friends would pay for me because I was the youngest, and that was the culture. The thing is, in Korea, after 6 months, you start to have a mandatory healthcare bill that comes in. And the minimum amount you have to pay, I think, is 120,000 Korean won. And then the more you earn, the higher that's gonna be every single year. So that's an expense as well. Life in itself is an expense. When my income was around $4,000 to $5,000 a month, I started to live much more comfortable. I could afford an apartment that was a little bit nicer, and in general I could take care of myself and my hobbies and not just focus on surviving. Hi girls!
Hi!
I just bumped into these two beautiful women telling me about their internship here.
Yeah.
So it's perfect timing to ask, like, how did you get that job?
Like, personally, I found it on LinkedIn.
Oh!
I contacted a lot of people, and that's how I found Mr. Park.
Mr. Park. Oh, he's up there. Okay, Mr. Park is up there.
Yeah, and I got an interview, and that's how I got in.
Oh, cool. How is it like living, like working for a Korean company?
Well, it's good. I've been here for like 3 weeks now, and it's a very international based company because it's a travel agency for foreign like tourists.
Oh.
But the owner is Korean, but he's great at English, and it's just English environment, so that's really cool.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, because I wanted to ask you, like, how are you getting around with, I'm assuming you don't have any Korean since you came here, experience, language-wise?
Well, I don't, but...
You do? Oh, nice.
I've used Papago to translate everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides that, you can find your way pretty easily, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm doing fine.
That's so nice. Oh my god.
Personally, I learned like on my own. for like maybe 6 months or something, and then I went on an exchange at the university, and I got better.
Oh my god, that's so impressive. That's so cool. What, was it hard finding a job here?
Well, it's more an intern, so it really depends. It's just you really have to look for it if you want it.
Yeah.
It doesn't just come fly by.
Yeah.
No, you really have to search for it.
Do you find that qualities you usually had to have was like Korean language, or?
Well, I didn't have any experience. She said, "Can you speak Korean?" I was like, "I can say yes and no." And he's like, "That's fine," because you work with international people and you work for like tourists that also don't speak like Korean, so you all communicate in English. So.
Oh, cool! Yeah. And what's the Korean tourism organization you're in called?
Adventure Korea.
Adventure Korea. You guys should check out Adventure Korea. Oh my god. Oh, thank you so much. Wow. Sometimes timing is just magically. Thank you so much for being in the video. My favorite Korean tea shop in all of Korea. I love their stuff. They have great like flower teas and very like old school Korean stuff. And with old school I mean like hanbang, which is traditional Korean medicine. One of my favorite Korean teas is omicha for sure.
So pretty. Just literally the color is only from the beetroot. This is amazing. All these things are really good for the skin, so I wanted to try to make some skin tingers. This is not my liking. I am in the middle of my break for the coaching call right now, or my coaching training session. This is actually my last session that I have with them, which is really crazy to think about. I've already been training for 5 months. This doesn't mean that I'm done with my certification yet. It just means that the actual like on-hand training is done. What I wanted to touch upon was I mentioned earlier how visas are very specific here, and basically if you're a foreigner and you want to live in Korea and you want to work, you can't really be doing just what you want to be doing or getting random jobs and thinking that's it. One, in order to get a working visa, you have to have a college education or university degree. Two, that working visa can only be used for that specific purpose that you're hired for. Let's say I got an E6 visa, which was an entertainment visa when I first came here. That's not a working visa, but you can get that and then you only are allowed to do entertainment. This fit well for me because one, I did not need a university degree, which I don't have, and two, I had already sort of, built up YouTube enough for a company to wanting to take me in. I was with a company, a Korean company, for 3 years before I moved to Korea with a visa with them. If a company is offering you an E6 visa and you don't know them, you've never worked with them before, and you are not established in your field already, run away. There are so many illegal scams here that will take your money, not give you jobs, take your passport. It's just very sketchy here, so please don't. You have to be established in what you do of some sort already before you can come here and come here to live comfortably. I've seen too many people coming here being promised so many different things for whatever company that was hiring them and giving them a visa, asking them to pay for it, etc., and where they've just not been getting what they were promised. Which is a big stress, trust me. You're alone in a different country, and if you're coming for the first time, you don't know the language. It is so stressful and can be straight up traumatizing to be neglected of the sort of people who are supposed to be responsible of you in an area you don't know. So be very mindful of what you get yourself into when it comes to coming to a different country.
You can include anything here because, you know, for me, even now, mostly my reflections are not written down. I have space afterwards.
As always, I'm gonna cleanse my face with the Scent Lavender Dream Oil Cleanser. And speaking of creating businesses and such, the reason why I'm being so like standoffish when it comes to creating your own business for you guys here in Korea, it's because it's really hard. You need a residency visa to even be able to do your own business stuff, or you need to be married. It's extremely hard to get visas like this. Unless you fall in love and get married, of course. I don't ever want to like promote falling in love and getting married for the sake of anything else than falling in love and getting married. Statistically, 99.9% of people are not going to be able to get this kind of visa, so that allows them to do whatever they want essentially in Korea. And so what you have to ask yourself is, realistically, are you giving up on bigger, more prominent goals in your life when you are trying to pursue, you know, living in Korea? Are you giving up potentially creating your own company one day, or starting your own small business, or becoming a life coach? Are you giving up that dream just because you want to be in Korea? Think about the bigger goal in your life and then reconsider what you want to do in Korea. Maybe traveling here as a tourist or taking a semester abroad here is much better than relocating everything and changing your dream career goals to something else just because you want to be in Korea. But if your main goal in your life is to be in Korea and explore different cultures deep in, and you don't really care what you're doing for a job, then oh my god, of course, like, it's fantastic. I obviously love living here. I recommend it. I think it's a great place to be. I'm just inviting you guys to ask yourself a little bit more questions when you make big decisions like this. I honestly just want the best for you. Look how this just melted off. My stubborn waterproof mascara. So good. I think regardless of where you are in the world, thriving takes work. And it's never gonna be easy. A big of the reason why I'm thriving is because of my loving relationship with Jake. So we're gonna go to bed, guys. I'll see you next week.